sure, Captain Black Ant Falcon Man, Brave New World is everything we feared it would be.
The Captain America sequel without Captain America has had a lot of problems, not the least of which is not having Captain America in your Captain America sequel.
Captain America Brave New World is the monster Frankenstein would have created had he first drunk 3 bottles of cheap scotch and had himself lobotomized to cure his crippling depression.
Look, y'all, the movie ain't perfect, but it's not that bad. Captain America Brave New World released February 14th, 2025 in the United States of America. Essentially what happens is Thaddeus Ross tries to get a treaty through the United Countries, India, France, Japan, and the United States to gather the new material left in the MCU, adamantium, by the Celestial on Celestial Island instead of killing each other over it. This goes well until Isaiah, the original Captain America, not the white one, attempts to kill Ross for no reason. I'm just not saying it yet. This causes a rift between Ross and the other leaders of the countries I mentioned. The story proceeds to be an investigation into what happened and the connections to the attack, and eventually Sam Wilson and his partner, Discount Falcon, find the true culprit behind all these attacks and manipulation. They also figure out that the men, including Isaiah, that attempted to kill Ross and his allies were mind controlled. By whom? Remember that guy from Incredible Hulk that got bodied and then they were going to do something with him, but they just never fucking did? Yeah, well, his name is Samuel Stearns, or the leader in the comics. There's also a group called Serpent Society, but they do dog shit, so I'm not going to talk about them. Sam and Ramirez catch Leaderman, and it all seems fine. Eventually, the whole reason why you even considered the movie, including me, makes an attack on the White House. Apparently, Ross was using Stearns for his political and militant campaigns because of his gamma brain, apparently making him incredibly intelligent and statistical, which I'll get into in a second. Ross promised Stearns a life out of the secret prison he had him in once he became president, but it never happened. Because of this and previous inflictions, Stearns slips gamma into Ross's heart pills that Stearns made him because of a deal, slowly giving him more and more gamma, which is what activates his form. Long story short, Stearns wanted to ruin Ross's legacy and expose him for the fraud he is or was, depending on your perspective. At some point, Stearns figures out a way to set Ross off and turns him into the Red Hulk at the White House by saying stuff he already said. Captain America defeated Red Hulk with the power of love and friendship, despite Ross being at his throat for 75% of the goddamn movie. Also, the treaty still goes through at the end. On paper, the writing for this movie isn't actually terrible. Big bad guy orchestrates events to the point where a bunch of groups pinned against each other, they're all allies, all in an act to bring out a particular man and expose him for his wrongdoings. Make everyone kill each other and it'll all be his fault. Woohoo! But in the end, it's kind of underwhelming because you feel like things end when they just start to get interesting. The leader, or Stearns, was so average it fucking hurt, dude. You know the guy from the Flash CW show, like the guy with the wheelchair or whatever? You know, that he was also like mad intelligent. Yeah, he's like a better version of what we get here. So left and right, you know, this dude talks about probability and grand plans, but then he does the most average villain shit. And then Sam and his group figures out the plans not even halfway through the goddamn movie. What I thought was going to happen, and keep in mind, I haven't watched all the MCU shows, was that the black chick advisor, whoever that was for Ross, was actually mind controlled. Or perhaps Stearns was mind controlling Ross to do certain things in order for the treaty to look bad, because, you know, world war over adamantium would be like donkey crazy. But his plan doesn't even go through, and it stopped halfway through the movie. They wrote the movie, like half of it, and they didn't know what else to do with the other half, so they kind of just like started to jumble stuff together. However, on some good notes, soundtrack was really good, and I felt like a lot of the cheesy dialogue was left out in this movie, although it still was kind of there. The action scenes were decent, and I thought they were creative and entertaining. The CGI, funnily enough, wasn't actually that bad, and it looked pretty solid in a lot of places, especially with Red Hulk and the action scenes. Although there are some parts where he looks kind of elongated and weird, so yeah. Speaking of Red Hulk, the climax of the movie is straight fucking fire, dude. I just love seeing Hulk's destruction and rage. There were some moments where he looked terrifying, and that stuff just makes you want to crave. The suits were also okay. I don't really have any complaints about that. I'd probably say Harrison Ford carried the movie with his acting. It was just top tier, maybe uncomfortable places where I thought he would snap and turn into the Hulk. The other actors did fine too, except for the woman who played Betty. Oh my fucking god, who greenlit those scenes with Betty Ross? They do look, Betty and Ross do or I should say Betty and her father eventually do meet, but they're in prison? Like, it would have been fucking delicious if they met at the cherry blossoms that they kept fucking like checking themselves off about. And then she calmed him down like she did Bruce and like all the other Hulk movies. It would have been symbolic and fitting for, you know, Ross's character, but they just didn't happen. All right, while I was editing this video, I went to look up who was the actress for Betty Ross in the new Captain America movie, and I guess I'm a goddamn retard, but I didn't realize that it was the same actress from the 2008 film. But still, my criticism still stands. The acting was horrible, and the fact that they brought her back just for that mediocre performance, I don't know if it says more about me not even recognizing her or more about the actual actress herself. It was bad. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, the story did have moments where I was sucked in and was wondering how things would happen, like, you know, pan out and all that, but it felt safe. Like, not a whole lot happened besides Ross got kicked out of presidency and now we have adamantium. I just ripped the pants off this movie and plowed it for a hot minute, but I'm not unhappy. I'm not even dissatisfied. I just wanted more from this movie because I felt like it could have been more than what it was. Would I recommend someone to see this movie? Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not hot garbage, but I mean, don't expect top level stuff here. The highlight for this movie obviously is the Red Hulk stuff, and I thought it was incredible. Thanks for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Also, leave your thoughts in the comments, agreeing or disagreeing with me. Love you. Bye-bye.